Hello and welcome to BelowAvg Gaming. I'm your host, the BelowAvg Gamer. Today we're doing a BelowAvg update, as you can see by the words below me, the stance all around here, the videos, picture, images down at the bottom there. This is the BelowAvg update. I did another one just a couple days ago on Twitch stream and all sorts of stuff like that. Today I want to do one on some movies coming out. Today is actually the release, well, tomorrow is the official release date of Captain America Civil War, although I'm going to see it tonight. For those of you who don't know, whenever a movie releases, they usually show it the night before early. So today, Captain America actually comes out at 7 p.m. for me, so I'm going on a date night with my fiance to go see it. Not her choice. But yeah, we're going to go see that tonight. Super excited. I'll probably do another video on that. This video may have some spoilers. Again, I haven't seen the movie, but I've done a lot of research on the comics. I've read a couple of the comics of Civil War. So yeah, anything that you're going to hear me say has nothing to do with the movie other than what's in the trailers. I'm going to be analyzing the trailers as well as talking about what happens in the comics a little bit. On the other side over there, you can see Suicide Squad. Now, 2016 has been called the year that no superheroes can work together, but villains are best friends. Something in that line, not necessarily those words exactly, but as you can see, the Suicide Squad is a movie about a bunch of villains, a ragtag team that comes together, and I'm going to be talking a lot about that as well, because I'm also super excited for that movie, which comes out soon. I don't know the date exactly, but I know it does come out soon. Super excited. Really, really excited about that. Let's go ahead and get started by first we're going to watch an amalgam of a couple of the trailers, two really influential and big trailers for Captain America Civil War. It's one trailer, then it's another trailer, and we'll see that right now. So let's go ahead and get started.
Staying together is more important than how we stay together.
When we get enough to do it. Sorry.
Now there what we saw real quick, sorry to interrupt, but what we saw real quick was we saw a shot of Tony Stark in the Raft, which is a big high security prison for supers that I believe he actually worked on. Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four actually worked on a prison as well in a different dimension. So this is, again, I'm not super crazy into comics, but I know a little bit. So if you want to call me wrong, want to call me out on it, feel free. Please do in the comments below. Talk about what I got wrong, what I got right, all this stuff. But I know that the Raft is a big, basically Alcatraz like super prison out in the middle of the ocean. We saw Tony Stark there. We heard Scarlett Johansson speak, which is one of my favorite noises in the world, talking about how it's important that you stay together, not necessarily how. So I'm thinking that she may be on a team just basically to keep the team together. Like, you notice that her and Hawkeye are on opposite teams for this whole thing, and we'll even see later their relation with that whole thing. Let's go back and go ahead and watch the trailer. But yeah, first off, we saw the prison that Tony Stark is in. We've seen in a couple trailers, we see that he's there alone. Like, we haven't seen any shots of other heroes in it, which I'm guessing is going to be a thing that's going to come later, because I feel like that would be a huge shot to include in the trailer. Like, do you know how much anticipation you could build by having, like, Tony Stark, okay, imagine this, Tony Stark bars in the Raft, and then, like, Captain America on one side. You don't know who's locked up, you don't know who's not. I mean, we could infer that Captain America would be locked up since Tony Stark is the one working on the Raft, but who knows? Yeah, or even someone who's on Tony Stark's team locked up in there. I think that it would have a lot of possibility. But let's go ahead and see what happens next.
Sorry. I can't.
I know.
Now that was a church, and that was a black suit and black dress. So someone is going to die here today. Now, I already talked about why Black Widow and Hawkeye might be on opposite teams. Another reference of that could be, and again, this is getting serious spoiler territory. I haven't seen the movie, so you're safe knowing that I could be very wrong in this. But in the comics, one of the things that makes Hawkeye who he is that his family is dead. He lost everything. He lost his wife, he lost his kids, lost his home. They're all gone. And that's kind of what makes him go kind of nuts in the comics a little bit, until Black Widow brings him to the side of good. So I'm thinking this funeral could be what ends up turning Hawkeye against Black Widow. What if this funeral is for his family, and that's one of the things that kicks off, is that Hawkeye's family dies, and now we're matching up to the comics a little bit more. So it does make a lot of sense for that to happen. And maybe she doesn't take it the way that he thinks she should, or anything, because we already built a lot of sentimental value into his family. They're the ones who harbored the Avengers in Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. You know, they're a big keystone to that. In the first movie we saw, in the first Avengers movie I should say, we saw Agent Coulson get fried by Loki, and that was the big thing that brought them together. Maybe this could be the thing that kind of tears them apart, is another funeral, because you have to remind people, you know, they're the Avengers. If they can't save the world, they're gonna avenge it. That's the Tony Stark line. But yeah, I think that could be a real possibility. Again, it could also be that whole UN blowing up in the original trailer that we had, that they're just at some big funeral for a bunch of people who died. But let's keep on watching, see if maybe we can figure something out.
I just want to make sure we consider all our options.
Again, there's that explosion of the UN. There's Bucky being there, being at the scene. We have Falcon there as well. Love Falcon. Really excited to see him be a bigger part, because in Age of Ultron he had a part, but it wasn't quite as big as I wanted it to be. I went into Age of Ultron wanting to see this big, grand thing, and then when I saw that Civil War was gonna be next, and I saw all the heroes fighting in that, I was so pumped, because now we finally get to see all the heroes. Whereas in Age of Ultron we saw the main cast, and then we saw some of the side characters too. Really excited. Falcon's gonna be a huge part on Cap's side. But we saw Bucky there at the site. We also saw the character that's going to become the Black Panther at that site as well, being one of the survivors, obviously, of that event. Let's continue, okay?
What's wrong about you?
Now, that laser beam that shot War Machine, a lot of people have speculation on that, because it's like a crazy beam that we don't know where it comes from. The only character that we know who could make a beam like that, other than Thor, who can make a lightning bolt that's not there currently, would be the Vision. But Vision is on the side of Tony Stark, so therefore he wouldn't be shooting down War Machine, right? Unless we have Scarlet Witch, and there's a little short shot that you should see. It's in that big thing. Altogether, that's like 10 minutes long, so I didn't want to include it in the video, but you can look it up on YouTube. There's a scene where Scarlet Witch and Vision are speaking about his emerald, or not his, his Chaos Emerald, about his power, gem of power thing. I forget the name. But this gem here, and how he does not know what it is. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't get it, and it's like the only thing that he does not understand. So he's really concerned about that to Scarlet Witch. Maybe Scarlet Witch will kind of figure out, like, oh, this thing's really strong. This thing's really powerful. If we do want to win this fight, we're gonna need to get that out of the hands of Vision. And we have that scene as well where she is controlling him, manipulating him, and he's getting down on his knees, like in pain. As she's manipulating him, perhaps she takes control of the Chaos Emerald. I'm going to call it that. I'm going to start calling it that. She takes control of the Chaos Emerald and is able to use that to shoot him down. As we can see, she's in a building, right, possibly, in my opinion, inside the airport. That they're fighting inside the airport. Which makes sense, because if I were fighting an all-powerful, all-seeing enemy, I would at least want to get him into close quarters. That way, because, like, they can both fly, I believe. But, you know, kind of get that to be there. Also, for film and cinematics, you want to have a little bit more focus on them. You don't want stuff going on in the background. So if that is really important, you're going to want to do something to draw focus, like bringing them into a separate room. So if that's going to be a big catalyst, maybe that's what it is. Also, Iron Man seems really torn up by this whole thing, which means that maybe Rhodey does die. Maybe that could be the funeral, and that's where Captain America kind of switches over. And he's like, you know, this is going too far. These are my friends. That whole thing. Now in the comics, this is a huge thing. There's no chance for anyone to really have like that deep, close relationship, because it's like, you know, we've all fought together. We've all been there. There's thousands of us, whereas here it's like 10 characters. And Captain America and Iron Man really have that bond that's a little bit closer. They do, as you can see in the other movies, they don't get along very well, but they do have this sort of respect for one another towards the end there. But yeah, so that could be interesting to see. If Vision is the one who shoots down Rhodey, that could be a huge thing. I mean, I don't see it not being a huge thing that if Rhodey dies, but yeah, I hope that he lives. He's a really cool character, and it'd really suck to have Iron Man 1 like leading up to it with that whole thing of Rhodey saying like, oh, maybe next time, pointing at the suit. Iron Man 2, it's kind of a big thing. Iron Man 3, he's kind of in there a little bit. They talk about him more than they show him. Avengers, he's kind of Avengers 2. He's in it a little bit, you know, he's in that big fight at the end, and then Civil War, he just dies. Like, that's what he's in it for, is to die. I'd be a little bit disappointed if that was that, because I've been waiting so long. I want to see all those crazy missiles and gunfire. Let's continue watching and see how that goes on.
What's wrong about you? I wouldn't do this if I had any other choice.
there we have that scene, sorry, excuse me, that everyone's talking about, where they're running up together. People were kind of disappointed at first because they said, you know, it's supposed to be 100 different superheroes, and you only have a couple of them running. Well, yeah, I don't want to wait 30 years for them to get all the superheroes. It should actually be a lot more. I don't want to wait 150 years for them to get all the superheroes in movies to bring them in. I mean, yeah. But they did edit it once they started showing Spider-Man. They did some heavy editing to put Spider-Man actually in that scene. So this trailer is pre-Spider-Man reveal. But yeah, later he does show up in that scene. Just loving it, loving it. I love the airport where it's just this big open area. It's gonna be a big open brawl. I'm hoping that they have that scene in all the movies where they're fighting. They're like, we can't do this. What are we gonna do? We're too evenly matched. Okay, everyone, switch partners. And I can totally see Tony Stark just time to switch dancing partners, and everyone swaps, and then they start fighting again. And this time some different stuff happens. Maybe Captain America's team gets a few more punches in. Iron Man's team gets a few more punches in. All sorts of stuff. Can't wait to see that. I think the airport, the big open space, is huge for this thing.
Captain America Civil War, rated PG-13, everywhere May 6th.
And that was the end of the first trailer. So let's go ahead and watch the second trailer, because that had a bunch of stuff. The second trailer actually has more because it's the newer one, the one that actually does feature Spider-Man a little bit more. So let's go ahead and watch.
Everywhere May 6th. Suit up. In 10 days, the movie event of the summer arrives.
What do? We fight.
Captain America Civil War is a triumph in every way.
So pumped about the Ant-Man riding Hawkeye's arrow. That's actually the cover to one of the most famous comic book covers, is Ant-Man holding onto the arrow. He's actually holding onto it like this, being fired across the thing. So super pumped to see how that works. We've already seen the footage of Ant-Man running into Iron Man's armor, and if that gets me really scared, because we already saw what he did to the Yellow Jacket in Ant-Man. So if he's trying to pull the same thing, it could be really interesting. Now, Iron Man's suit doesn't run on the pin particle, but you could do some serious damage getting into that thing as Ant-Man. Also, I'm sure that Iron Man, he understands all these characters. He's keeping tabs on these characters. He even knows who Spider-Man is. I'm curious if maybe he has some sort of defense mechanism against Ant-Man getting into his suit, because we know that he's one to over-prepare for everything. So I'm curious if he already has some sort of defense mechanism for Ant-Man. I mean, I think that'd be great if it has that huge scene, Ant-Man running in and then immediately just getting booted out of the arm or something. I think that'd be funny, it'd be great, and it would be really true to those characters. Ant-Man being one to just run in, it's his first time actually being on a big superhero team, running in and being like, I'm gonna save the day, gets in there, and then boom, shot out of the arm. Like, I think that'd be great. Funny, fantastic, let's see more.
It's remarkable.
There we saw that scene where Bucky is willing, just fully willing to shoot Iron Man. You know, I watched that scene when it first came out a bunch of times, and I didn't understand, excuse me, I didn't understand what was happening there. I was like, oh, whatever, no. And then when I saw someone, they said, yeah, when he tries to shoot Iron Man in the face, I was like, what are you talking about? And I went back and I watched it, and I was like, he just tried to shoot Iron Man in the face! What? Bucky is, Bucky is this character. He's literally the loose cannon. He's the Charlie Day of the group. And he's a wild card. And I'm terrified to see what he could do. I mean, it's fully an option that he might be one using one of Count Zemo's, who's already going to be in the movie, Count Zemo's weapons to shoot at Rhodey and up there. I'm really scared because there's so many characters. There's Count Zemo, there's Crossbones, all these characters that, plus they're fighting each other, that this is going to be a to-be-continued movie. Like Civil War 2. I don't know, I think I might have seen it already, or if it's already listed or slated. I'll figure it out later after I'm done filming this. But, I'm so scared. I want this to be a complete and whole movie in its own, but I can totally see them continuing it on to a separate movie as well. And I'd be disappointed for a little bit, but you can really understand if they did split it into two movies. First off, it's a huge franchise. They're gonna make a lot of money off of it. Second off, it keeps people hyped, keeps people anticipating the next thing. Let's go ahead and continue watching.
Everything a blockbuster should be.
You have a metal arm? That is awesome, dude.
I don't fully understand what's happening here. Spider-Man is strong enough to stop Bucky's arm. His huge metal arm, which has been shown punching through trucks and whatnot. Stopping rockets, stopping Cap's shield mid-air. And Spider-Man's just like, oh yeah, whatever, stop that, just mid-air. Whatever. I can even crack a joke about it because I'm so strong. That might be a little too OP. Every time I watch it, I get kind of upset about it. But I want to see. Maybe this is just a stronger Spider-Man than they've had before. they did get rid of their 2 powerhouse hitters, which are Thor and Hulk. So I think it would be interesting for them to get another big powerhouse. And I think it'd be even funnier if it's like a 16-year-old kid, Spider-Man in his suit. Because he has his web launchers, which means that they've kind of removed that force of power. Where in the first movie of Spider-Man, I'm not saying the first movies with Tobey Maguire were fantastic. I'm saying they're horrible. But in those ones, he had that power, so he didn't have to be quite as strong. Whereas in the Amazing Spider-Man ones, he wasn't as he was a little bit stronger. Like that was like the thing was, oh look, he can flip through air, do all this crazy acrobatic stuff, but he doesn't have webs, and that was a good trade-off. In this one, I'm curious if he's a lot stronger because he doesn't have those webs. Also, we've already seen the technology in his eyes during the big reveal. Maybe there's more microfiber, microtechnology in his suit that actually makes him stronger. But that was my one big criticism with that, was how strong is this Spider-Man? How strong are they intending him to be that he could just stop Bucky's arm in the air? Or maybe they're doing like a kryptonite gas or something that's like in the air that makes Bucky weak, and he's like, oh, I'm just like a regular person now. And Spider-Man's just like taking advantage of that. But we see him run, jump, kick, flying through the air. He looks like a superhero. Like this could be his first day out, but he looks like a superhero. I mean, it would have to be because they've been fighting in New York this entire time. But at the same time, they knew about him. They knew of Spider-Man. Spider-Man existed because if you watch the end of Ant-Man, they reference him when they're talking to Falcon. I almost said Hawkeye. There's too many bird people in this movie. But when they're talking to Falcon at the very, very end, and they're saying like, oh yeah, we got a guy who runs, jumps, climbs up walls, shoots webs, or whatever it is, and you're like, they're referencing Spider-Man. They've got Spider-Man. Spider-Man's gonna be on the team. And then they have this. It's like he's existed for quite some time. Like there's stuff saying like, oh yeah, you know, Spider-Man is it's his first time being Spider-Man. It's in the Avengers kind of stuff. But it can't be. It would be really inconsistent if it was his first time being Spider-Man, being on the Avengers. First off, to comic books, because comics, he doesn't join Avengers till way later. Because he's been a huge fan of them for forever. So it would follow that timeline really well. But more importantly, on the Ant-Man timeline, Spider-Man has to have existed prior to Ant-Man. So Spider-Man has to predate Ant-Man even. Let's go ahead and continue so we can see more.
Dude.
We also have that scene there of Black Panther clawing at the vibranium shield, which is interesting because the Black Panther suit is also made of vibranium. So this is kind of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object type thing, is who's going to win on this? Captain America's shield or Black Panther? Now we see a lot of Cap's shield being in everything. I mean, yes, it's a Civil War movie. Yes, it's a Captain America movie. But at the same time, his shield is shown in a lot of stuff. Like it's the logo itself. It's shown falling to the ground a lot of times. Spider-Man holds it. Bucky holds it. They even shown tag teaming, fighting Iron Man with it, shooting it back and forth to each other. And in the Civil War comics, Civil War is the death of Captain America. So maybe this passing off the shield of between characters could be this thing of like, someone has to be the new Captain America. Someone's going to have to be Captain America at the end of this movie, and it's not going to be Steve Rogers. Like, it's a really powerful image if you think about it, to see them passing off the shield and understanding what that might mean. That it could mean that in the future, Captain America is not going to be Steve Rogers anymore. It's going to have to be someone else. It could be Spider-Man. It has never been Spider-Man before. It could be Falcon, in which it has been in the comics for quite some time. It could be Bucky, who took up the mantle after Captain America first, I think. But yeah, so there's a lot of people that it could be who are in this movie, first off. Second off, Civil War is known iconically for being the death of Captain America. And third off, it's the big logo. And fourth off, it looks here like it's about to be destroyed. Because it has that force of being held still, but the vibranium used in Black Panthers is moving. It's active. It's motion, which means that it's going to be stronger because it's moving. That will break the shield. And if the shield's broken, Captain America, yes, he's strong, yes, he's powerful, but he's very limited without that shield. Like, he's still a force to be reckoned with. But without the shield, he is a little bit more weakened. So we'll see. It's also shown really scratched up, really banged up, really just destroyed a lot in a lot of ways in a lot of the trailers and things. So we'll see. There's a lot of things here that could break that shield. Let's go ahead and finish up the trailer real quick.
Captain America Civil War, rated PG-13. Get tickets now.
And that's that. So that's the end of that trailer there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm super excited for Spider-Man. Really excited that he's in it. I'm really excited for Black Panther. When I first saw it, I was like, yeah, Black Panther, he's a really cool character. I kind of feel like they're including him just because they have to, because it's a Civil War movie and you have to get all the Avengers in there. But the more that I see of him, the more I'm like, this is going to be the killer character. This character is going to be so so awesome. It's gonna take over, just like same way that I felt with Wonder Woman going into Batman vs Superman. I was like, yeah, they kind of just included her because they had to. It's gonna be just a character that they're doing for fan service or whatever. And then I saw it and I was like, she is the best part of the movie. I love Wonder Woman. She is fantastic. I would kill for Wonder Woman. I hope that I don't have to, because if someone could kill Wonder Woman, I don't think that I stand a chance. But I think Black Panther is going to be the same thing. I've heard people talking about it on the news this morning. It was actually Good Morning America. They were talking about how they had seen the movie and how Spider-Man steals the show. Like, that was the one thing. They said Spider-Man steals the show, which I'm excited about, because again, I was really worried that they were going to tease Spider-Man at the end of the movie and be like, look, it's Spider-Man, to be continued. Like they did with Amazing Spider-Man, where I went solely to see him fight Rhino and was horribly disappointed. But yeah, that's a lot of stuff going on. Go ahead and see the movie. It comes out today at 7 p.m. here where I'm from, so it should be coming out same time where you are. Release date is going to be tomorrow, though, which will be the 6th, which will be the 6th. May 6th, it will be coming out. So excited, so happy, so pumped for this movie. Let's go ahead and see on the adverse side how Suicide Squad is doing. Suicide Squad, I'm going to have to analyze this trailer really tightly because there's a lot of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and hop into that.
Gentlemen, ladies, what if Superman had decided to fly down, rip...
So here we have, first off, some really good dialogue. I noticed that this trailer came out, I think, the day after, if not 2 days or so, after Batman vs. Superman came out. It has a lot more Batman in the trailer and has a lot more reference to Superman. They actually say the word Superman in the trailer. So it's meaning, like, now that Batman vs. Superman is out, they're able to say, like, yeah, these happen in the same universe. Like, for real, for totes, this is going to be the same universe. Both Superman and Batman exist. They're going to be huge parts of the movie, huge plot points. In the fact of, like, you know, what if Superman did decide that he wanted to take over the world? He's the strongest force in the galaxy as far as we know. That was the big thing with Batman in Batman vs. Superman was, you know, what happens if Superman went rogue? What would we do? What could we do? And this is the government's answer to that whole thing, is if Superman did go rogue, what would we do? And if this is the same universe, we already have a very aged Batman, which is, again, one of those weird things that we have an aged Batman, but we have a young Joker. Let's go ahead and continue watching to see.
Rip off the roof of the White House, grab the president right out of the Oval Office. Who would have stopped him?
I love this scene of the transport of all the Suicide Squad. It's great because it shows, like, how this prison, how BelowAvg is so accustomed to dealing with these creatures and these monsters that each one has a very specific caging style. We even saw Killer Croc's cage at the beginning, or his cell at the beginning of the trailer. How he actually has, like, human flesh hanging on one side, and then he has water down here. We see that scene of him popping out of the water to grab someone and pull them under, which is great because that's totes Killer Croc. That's what I've wanted to see ever since the Arkham series came out in video games. I was like, this needs to be a movie. I'm so pumped. I've waited so long to see Killer Croc as a character in a movie, and I love that they're doing traditional effects for it. They're not doing any, like, computer generated. Maybe it's blinking or whatnot, but as for, like, his face structure, his body and everything, all traditional. So excited for that. Just so pumped because it's gonna look so real. Gotta start the movie.
I want to build a team of some very bad people who I think can do some good.
Now here, I noticed we're stopping this video a lot more often than we're stopping the other one. We saw, actually, Slipknot, who has the ropes. I've noticed a couple things regarding Slipknot that I want to talk about a little bit. Again, a little spoiler territory. I suggest, if you're worried about spoilers and what I'm going to talk about here, again, I have not seen the movie, it's not out yet, but I have read a couple of the comics and the more recent comics. And I've watched Escape from Arkham, or what's it called, Arkham. The one where the cartoon where they're breaking into Arkham. Attack on Arkham, that's what it is. Attack on Arkham, which is a great animated movie. Oh my gosh, you need to see it if you have not seen it. That will get you so prepared for Suicide Squad in every way, shape, and form. Like, it explains fully what they are, and it even gives away some plot points that might come up. The one that I'm talking about with Slipknot is actually regarding KG Beast, who actually was in Batman vs. Superman, which is interesting because he would have been a great crossover into this movie, but I don't know if he's in it or not because he was actually part of Suicide Squad, especially in Attack on Arkham. But let's go ahead and continue and see how that works out.
Can do some good.
Yeah, Y'all jokers must be crazy.
First off, Margot Robbie, thank you for everything that you are in this world and everything that you can be in this world. We appreciate all the things that you're doing for us. Both of the things that you're doing for us are fantastic. But we also have Will Smith playing Deadshot. Hi. So pumped. So excited. It's Deadshot, right? Yeah, Deadshot. I was like, Deadshot or Deathstroke? Did I get that wrong? No, it's Deadshot. Which is awesome. He has the handgun, and he's like telling, like, this is obviously the first time that they're like, here you go, you're officially a part of the team, and he's calling them crazy, most likely for giving him a gun surrounded by them. Then he shoots the thing, which has the X's on the eyes. My assumption is that they're preparing him to face the Joker, because with all that stuff that we've seen with like the X's on the eyes and the little smiley face and all that design stuff that they're doing, very reminiscent of the Joker. So, and what I'm thinking is in the movie, they're actually having these guys go after the Joker. Like, he's someone that it's like, you know, we've had enough, we need to get the Joker. And if you watch Attack on Arkham, they are, that's like one of the big plot points, is getting the Joker, stopping the Joker. It's a later plot point, but it is a plot point in there. Was the Suicide Squad's kind of sent after the Joker. So this will be very interesting to see how this unfolds, because that's my opinion, is that they're tired of watching Batman deal with it. There's this whole conspiracy that the Joker is actually Jason Todd or one of the Robins. You know, sometimes they go off canon a little bit, but that he's actually one of the Robins turned into Joker, just like in Return of the Joker in Batman Beyond, which would make a lot more sense because this is a later version of Batman, an older version of Batman. So therefore, it's kind of fitting into that universe of Batman Beyond, where in that universe, the Joker actually turned Jason Todd into another version of himself, so that when he died, there would be another Joker, which also fits in that whole thing of like a younger Joker, older Batman. So a lot of stuff's lining up with that, and that we have this younger Joker, older Batman, kind of lining up to the idea of Batman Beyond, Joker infusing his DNA into Jason Todd, so that Jason Todd would grow up to become the Joker eventually, and then this Joker being here. People pointed out, there's a lot of videos if you want to check them out, of like how the Robin suit has 2 puncture holes here in the shoulders, and the Joker, when it has his shirt off, has X's right here, tattoos maybe to hide scars, or not even hide scars, but just to make fun of his own scars and what made him, along with other stuff. But it's really interesting, especially with that whole idea of the suit being attacked by the Joker. Our first thought for comic book fans is, oh, that's the suit that was Jason Todd, and Jason Todd becomes the Red Hood. However, in the Batman Beyond universe, which is matching up a lot closer to this one, it's actually Jason Todd becomes the Joker, which is really interesting. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue. I had other things to say, but I forgot what they were. Maybe I'll remember them in a sec. We'll see.
What?
This is the deal. You disobey me, you die. You tried it.
Another thing, okay, this is what I want to talk about with Slipknot, is in Attack on Arkham, they used one person who's in the team to prove that they're not joking with what's happening, and that ended up being KG Beast. I'm curious, and my guess is that in this one, Slipknot's going to be that example. They're going to use him as the example to say, like, if you disobey me, you'll die. They even cut to that shot of showing Slipknot directly disobeying, trying to get away. So it's interesting, because it's, like I said, it's matching up a lot to some of the animated movies that just came out, which would have been a heavily reference to this movie, is using one of the teammates as an example for what'll happen if you disobey. And I'm thinking that Slipknot would be that character. Slipknot, he's not appearing in as much stuff as the other members. We definitely see a lot of the other members a lot more than we see Slipknot, as well as the fact that you know, he's kind of a character whose power is made fun of in the comics. His power is ropes. I got ropes. Yeah, ropes. Ropes, that's what I do. I mean, yes, Captain Boomerang only has boomerangs, but they've made him really cool. And if they kill off Captain Boomerang midway through the movie, I am leaving. I am standing up and I am leaving, and I am taking everyone with me. Do not ever speak to me or my son or my son's son ever again. I will be up and I will be gone if they kill Captain Boomerang, because he's a lame hero, and I was always curious how they were going to make him cool, and they did it. They made him not only cool, but probably the funniest part of the movie. In all the trailers I've seen, he is funnier than the Joker or Harley Quinn by far. And I don't mean that as a burn on Margot Robbie or on the Joker's character either. I'm just saying he is like more traditionally funny in the fact of like he has no idea what's happening. I love the idea of idiots thrown into scenarios that they don't fully understand, and he is exactly that character. So I am so pumped for Captain Boomerang. But yeah, super excited for that. I think Slipknot's going to become that character who becomes an example, and they end up killing him just to show, like, we'll do it. We'll kill you. Rick Flag is there to enforce that rule. I'm curious if they have the X's on their necks, the bombs implanted in them like they did in the cartoons and comics, but we'll see.
You try to escape, and you die.
You got a boyfriend?
You irritate or vex me,
I'm known to be quite vexing. I'm just forewarning you.
you die.
We also saw that shot, if you look really close, you might want to go back and replay, of Scott Eastwood in the background. Scott Eastwood, we don't know what character he's playing kind of yet. Kind of a minor character for Scott Eastwood to play. So people have been putting around this idea that perhaps he is Robin, or a different Robin, who's undercover in this whole organization. Also trying to figure out what's going on with the Suicide Squad, which seems like a very Batman thing to do, is to say, you know, there's this Suicide Squad thing happening, they're using all the villains to try to stop Superman. I fully endorse it. I'm great. I want them to kind of keep an eye on Superman, and what's going on there. So yeah, Robin, Nightwing, at this point he'd probably be Nightwing. Nightwing, go in there and keep an eye on that whole thing. So yeah, at this point Nightwing would be his own hero, still in cooperation with Batman, but if he's undercover here, fantastic, great. I want, if that was at the end of the movie, it was, I was Nightwing all along, I am standing up and I am coming back into the theater, kicking the door open and saying, what was that? I'm here, I'm sitting down, you saved my seat, thank you, me and my sons will talk to you again, this will be great. But yeah, so much stuff going around that I'm hoping is true, a lot of stuff going around that I'm hoping is false, but we will see. So many things happening in this movie.
If they get caught, we throw them under the bus.
So another thing that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about with this is that Chopper is clearly being shot at. I haven't seen a lot of people talking about that, but clearly there's some sort of other military or some sort of other militia shooting at them. We've seen the Joker has his army there, but I don't think that it's the Joker, because from what we see in this scene, there's a lot of like supernatural stuff going on, and we've seen that Enchantress is going to be a huge part of the movie, and that tends to be her mode of expertise, is kind of enchanting stuff, you know, enchanting. Makes sense, right? And that supernatural type stuff, I think that's going to be that, but I think the Joker also is there. My thoughts is that they're sent in to go face the Joker on something going on, and then this whole other thing kicks off while they're there. Because, yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks as well as to Margot Robbie's connection to the Joker as Harley Quinn, and him making her, creating her in that, in the Ace Chemical plant. So, yeah, that's going to be exciting, but I think that they're going to do a lot more than they're showing between those characters, and showing that she does have kind of that conflict. Even in Attack on Arkham, she has that conflict of, like, I don't quite know whose team I'm on. She has this relationship with Suicide Squad, even a romantic relationship with a couple of the members of Suicide Squad, as well as a romantic relationship with the Joker. And the Joker even makes the quote, both in there and in the comics, I don't like when people touch my stuff. So it'll be exciting. I really hope that that line does come up in the movie, because it's a really good line. I'm not saying that she's an object in any way, objectifying woman. It's just a line that I really want to see, because it really enforces that character for who the Joker is.
What a ride!
Let's play.
Come on, got some better to do?
We get to see all the characters in action. We see Deadshot with his gun fists, which is exciting. We see Margot Robbie going and swinging. I really want to see that, because they all have such different fighting styles that it's going to be so exciting to see them all right beside each other, going hand over fist, one trying to one-up the other. And then, of course, we have Captain Boomerang, who I have no idea what he's going to do, because we have not seen him with a boomerang at all. I'm getting kind of antsy, kind of disappointed that it's like, oh yeah, they call me Boomerang because once when I was a kid, I had a boomerang and I threw it and it hit a guy, cut his head off, came back and I grabbed it, and they called me Captain Boomerang ever since. But I have never touched a boomerang after that. That was a horrible Australian accent for those of you who weren't paying attention or who went deaf upon hearing it. But yeah, I'm hoping that they actually give us some boomerang action there.
I love this guy.
Not good.
Don't forget, we're the bad guys.
Here we really have the Joker coming in on his own terms, and everyone is kind of panicking, at least in the way the trailer sets it up, is kind of like, hey, this is the big bad guy. So again, that's one of the things where it's like, okay, here is the one guy that you're supposed to go against. I'm curious if it's going to be 2 plot points or an intertwined plot point. because I really want to see how that works. I'd be happy either way, whether it was 2 plot points or an intertwined. 2 plot points is going to be a little messy, but I'll still be happy with it. But yeah, that's again why I think that their original target is the Joker, is that after everything that they've gone through, now the Joker is enter the Joker. It's like, this is the big guy that we're supposed to actually be going after. This is the big game, the big target. Even Margot Robbie comes up as Harley Quinn and is like, this is an issue. Even Deadshot, who's supposed to be the leader, like even references like, this is not good. This is gonna be painful for everyone involved.
Are you sweet talking me? All of that chit chat's gonna get you hurt.
And we have Batman. Enter Batman. I don't know what his role in this movie is gonna be, but I'm really excited. Maybe he's even like the silent guardian, the watchful protector in this one, where he's like not fully a part of the plot itself, but he's just there watching. Maybe it's even the time that Nightwing takes over as Batman. That could be this, and we'll see that happening. Or it could be Batman Beyond. I mean, I think if they mix that whole idea of it being a new, younger Batman along with the Nightwing becoming Batman, we have Nightwing pretending to be Batman, also pretending to be part of the military that's involved with the Suicide Squad. That'd be interesting, because then we have Batman coming. They're not showing us a clear picture of his face. I think it's because they want to hide that it is Scott Eastwood playing that character. And I think that'd be interesting because it does match up with both the comics, the cartoons, everything matches up to it being a new, younger Batman who's disguised as him. In the comics, Batman is away. He's off doing something mysterious, probably, and Nightwing takes over the mantle. So I think it'd be interesting, especially the fact that they're trying not to show his face, that he's already kind of there, and that he might fully understand the plan more than they do. Again, it's also might be part of a flashback. I'm hoping that it's not a flashback. I want to see Batman in this movie a little bit more, but we will see. Again, I don't know. I'm really excited to see how that works out. Sure. There we have 2 scenes. We have Batman first off diving, and then we have Batman, other stuff happening, then Batman hitting the water. It almost looks like his face is completely blacked out when it shows him running. Again, that's really similar to Batman Beyond's Batman. If his face is completely blacked out. Similar costume design. I didn't think that I'd be connecting it so much to Batman Beyond, but upon watching this again and again and again, I've started to see a little bit more stuff there, especially with the conspiracy that Joker might actually be Robin and Robin might actually be Joker. A lot of stuff is starting to line up, and you can figure that out on your own too. That this may be a combination of Attack on Arkham and the camera's opposite, so I always get freaked out, confused. But Attack on Arkham and Batman Beyond, that those 2 things might be intertwined and connected here. That this is, again, the younger Batman. We see him doing all that stuff. We see Harley Quinn going into the vat. We see a little bit more of the Joker. We see Deadshot with the mask on, which I'm excited about, because whenever they recreate characters, I always like them to keep some iconic thing, and I'm glad that they kept the mask for Deadshot. It's great. You never want to have your A+ actors like Will Smith not showing their face, but I'm glad that they have something there to reminisce to the character at least a little bit. We have Joker wearing the suit that he has in the comics where Harley Quinn is first made, so that could be a flashback scene. It's burnt up a little bit, which reminds me a lot of Endgame, where the Joker dies, as well as Batman dies in the Endgame comics. So I don't know anything about that. I'm just saying it's really reminiscent. In the comics, Joker gets part of his face burnt. Actually, the same part that's shown in this footage, like burnt off from a shot. I believe it's a shotgun. I think that Alfred shoots him with a shotgun. It's blasted off. But yeah, so that's interesting. We'll see how that goes. Because again, if it is the same suit from the birth of Harley Quinn, that will be a flashback. Hopefully, we'll see. That's a lot of flashbacks. It's more flashbacks than Deadpool, which was like 80% flashback. Not complaining, great movie, but it was fantastic to see how much the movie was just a flashback up to that point. Reminded me of like Ferris Bueller or some of those older ones, which they reference at the end of the movies too. But we're not talking about Deadpool. We're talking about this movie right now.
What you gonna do? You wanna see something? Yo, y'all wanna see something? Yes, I wanna see something. I was just trying to get you there. You know how I feelings, right? We good.
There we have not only a shot of the Batmobile, but the Joker-mobile as well. Like a big purple car that we see in Arkham Knight, the Joker-mobile. It's not quite as goofy as that one was, but still, I'm calling it the Joker-mobile. It's a big purple car driven by the Joker and Harley Quinn. I'm calling it the Joker-mobile. Reminds me a lot of the Batman from the Kids WB, when he first makes Harley, and they have that song that they sing and they're driving around town. Ha ha ha. I think it's like Paint the Town Red. Some sort of song. Look it up. It's a lot of fun. Really crazy. But it reminds me of that. So, yeah, we have the Joker-mobile. We have that scene where Batman's on top, which again will be a flashback, most likely, unless Joker draws Harley Quinn back to his side, which happens a lot. She's always constantly Suicide Squad doing her own thing, but is drawn back to Mr. J all the time. Yeah, Batmobile.
What you having?
Beer.
Whiskey.
What am I, 12?
How about you, hot stuff?
Water.
That's a good idea, honey.
It was August. That's the date that it comes out, is August. For those of you who are curious, when I said earlier, I don't know. It's August 2016, clearly. But yeah, so excited, so pumped for this movie. I love all the characters having this dynamic together. I hope that they can really bring some of those other characters like Enchantress and Katana and Diablo all up into these main character roles. Yeah, like, because right now I think a lot of people are feeling them as like background characters. Like, oh yeah, we got Killer Croc, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, Harley Quinn. We don't need anyone else, but we really need those other characters to be there as that support, not support, but being there as other star athletes in this movie. Really excited. I'm really excited for both of these films down here. If you want to see, other trailers are everywhere. They've completely taken over YouTube. Watch the video. There's one video that's out there. I don't know who does it. But linking up the music, and you can even see it yourself watching the music of the Suicide Squad trailers and how well that it is synced up to the trailers themselves. It's amazing. It's fantastic. One of the coolest things that I have ever seen with how they link up that music to really portray that whole thing. And then Captain America Civil War. Kind of disappointed because I am a Team Iron Man fan. I actually did some art today before we do this one here for Team Iron Man. But kind of disappointed that it's a Captain America film. But I'm going to see it anyway. I mean, you know, they want to portray this idea that Captain America is the good guy. So I understand that. You're not going to name a movie after the bad guy for a Marvel Cinematic Universe thing. But I'm really excited for both these movies. Like I said, I'm going to go see Captain America Civil War in 7 hours or so. So, yeah, super pumped. Yeah. And then I'm going to go see Suicide Squad in 7 hours and 3 months. So, yeah, it's going to be a busy month for me, but I'm going to find a way to get over there and see that movie. Because not only am I excited, but my fiance is excited too, which doesn't happen a lot for superhero movies. So we will be there opening night. I think I'm going to be first showing Civil War. If not, I'm going to go to second showing because I might not be able to make it to first. But I will be there, and I will be doing another update, if not tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Friday? Then if not tomorrow, then definitely Saturday. I'll be doing another update, so yeah, that'll be fun. I have some stuff to do today. I have some other big, important adult business to get to. Again, I want to thank everyone watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, Captain Goodnight, again for sending me that mouse pad last episode. I really appreciate that. You the best. I appreciate you, and bye.